Take cover! Advance!
Make yourself useful, Grayson!
Come on, can't you run any faster, old man?
Survivors of the attack were scattered all over Rotterdam. Communication had broken down completely, not only between the squadrons, but between ground forces and British command back in Dover as well. For the first hours, military discipline was reduced to a struggle for survival. But Cartwright knew if the mission were dangerous enough, he could be counted on to volunteer. I often thought that Grayson took these suicide missions because he had a death wish of his own, that his brother's death had been too much for him. I did not realize until much later how wrong I was. Have to set aside their personal differences long enough to infiltrate and destroy the final gun tower. Failure to do so meant that the second wave of transports would be destroyed. The fate of myself and every soldier traveling in the second wave of transports lay in the hands of James Grayson.
Follow emergency protocols. Render aid and gather weapons and supplies. Then report to command post. Affirmative! Right away!
Europe passed beneath the dome and vanished, plummeting into a chasm over a mile in depth. Bouchard's father thought the Chimera were using the water as part of their new conversion process. But without Grayson, she would never live to find out if her father was right. Grayson knew all along that he would not obey. His time in solitary confinement, the death of his brother, his weeks on death row, all of this had made him bitter towards any military authority, even the Marquis. Destroying the Chimera was all that mattered to Grayson. For Rain Bouchard. To reach the lower depths, he had just to follow the network of structures that controlled the water flow, the millions of gallons per minute siphoned from the diverted Rhine, which poured through the maze of underground tubing like blood through a vast steel embryo. Turned, Cartwright's mission to stop the Earth Mover was only the latest to fail. Grayson had been very lucky. Traveling through the trenches had allowed him to escape the notice of the patrolling Chimera dropships. But Grayson's luck was about to run out. While Cartwright headed towards the second Earth Mover, Grayson worked his way through the Chimera construction zone. Miles of trenches had to be traversed on foot. He had only hours to stop the Earth Mover from crashing through Luxembourg's outer perimeter. Grayson had to navigate a maze of alien technology to find the second Earth Mover. Destroying it would not be easy, but the lives of thousands depended on Grayson's ability to stop the Earth Mover before it reached Luxembourg.
Cartwright.
Not bad for a deserter. And a frog.
Fell, all surviving forces were ordered to the Luxembourg walls, where I, along with other British and Marquis leaders, awaited the last of the VTOL transports. Now it was a race against time, as we attempted to hold off the advancing Chimera, while our escape routes were closed off, one by one. Process. With Grayson's help inside the Bonn facility, Rain had obtained samples of amniotic fluid that would prove crucial to her father's work. But with Luxembourg now under siege, would we be able to get Dr. Bouchard's work out intact? Collapsed. Hundreds of evacuees, including Rain Bouchard and her father, were still awaiting transport. We had to rely on soldiers like James Grayson, who were willing to man the bunker guns in a desperate attempt to hold off the Chimera and buy all of us more time to escape. As Grayson moved into the outskirts of Paris, he could see that Cartwright's assault on the Chimera Tower had begun. The clock was now ticking. Grayson would have to reach the Chrysalis lair and deliver the serum while the Chimera defense forces were being diverted. Though he'd had an coherent, at least appearing so to us, the Cloven had a complex language and society. Grayson began to realize that the Cloven were in the catacombs for a purpose closely related to Bouchard's mission to contaminate the Chimera's new conversion process. But one thing was clear. Related genetically, the two species could coexist in the same region, tolerating each other's presence. It's entirely possible that Bouchard literally strolled through the catacombs completely unharmed. To us. All Grayson knew was that Bouchard, followed by Mallory, had left the abandoned processing complex beneath the city and was heading towards the Chimera Tower that she called the Chrysalis Lair. It would take everything he had to find her. Unless Grayson succeeded, one that no man would live to see. While he knew that Bouchard must already be somewhere inside, he was driven by something he could never explain, to find her. Destroyed him, that being submerged beneath the frozen Seine might somehow become a ritual cleansing. Regardless, there can be no doubt that the James Grayson who entered the Seine was not the same man we had sentenced to death only weeks before.
Fuck you, Mallory.
And the case was never remanded to military authority. Once, I had also asked Grayson what transpired inside the Chrysalis Lair, and all he would ever say was that everything changed.
The entire system's collapsing. How many carriers have already left infected, Rain? How long before this is all gone? Why did you let this happen, Rain? Why did you let this happen, Rain?